Hello Active Americans, Scott Haycraft coming to you today from our offices at activeamericans.com. I'd like to speak with you today a little bit more about the bailouts in general and specifically the big three automaker bailouts. And last we left, our last visit about this topic was that I really felt and was promoting a concept of the American taxpayer making an investment in the automobile industry and having a preferred stake so that if we did in fact bail out the big three, there was accountability from top to bottom, from the executive dining rooms all the way down to the people making those cars, putting them together for us Americans across this great nation. And just really would like to talk to you and bring you up a little more to date about where we are in that process. We had legislation that did not pass the Senate, and that there were promises, at least in the media, from the administration, the President, and speaking with the Treasury Secretary, that those promises of a bailout for the big three automakers may come regardless of legislation. And just wanted to talk to you about that today. I think we're at a point where the American people are just very confused. We don't know what to advise our Congress and our senators. We don't know how to advise them. We don't feel we're getting the complete truth out of any sector, of any element. What I think needs to be done is that we hear from the American auto worker, the workers themselves, and maybe hear from their families. But, speaking for active Americans across this country, we care about employees, regardless of who they are or where they are in this country. And I think the 2 to 3 million employees that are going to lose their jobs if the automakers file bankruptcy, we need to hear from them. We need to know what true impact that's going to have on their lives. Well, I hear from active Americans on a daily basis, and I also hear from active Americans through this holiday season at just the various holiday parties that I attend. And it seems that we're talking less about the holidays and more about the economic crisis at every level. And what I continue to hear from people employed in other industries is, why are the auto workers such a protected class in this country? There are millions of other people losing their jobs. 500,000 last month alone lost their jobs in this country, and we're not bailing them out. Why should we bail out the auto workers? And I don't have an easy or a clear answer to that. I'd like to know why we seem to treat auto workers as a protected class. Active Americans across this country want to hear from current auto workers, retired auto workers, families that have 2, 3, 4, and 5 generations of auto workers in their families. We want to hear from you. We want to hear from you at activeamericans.com. We can move forward and getting the proper funding to help resolve this conflict. But we need to hear from you. We need to hear less from the UAW and less from the executives and more from the employees.